get started. So, hello, I'm Miss Christy. I'm going to be hosting today, and welcome to our 2025 AP Art Seminar. Thank you all for coming, especially on this very special day. Happy Mother's Day to all my moms out here who are here joining us. We really appreciate everybody's time. Today, we're going to be talking about how to prepare your students for AP Art and what that entails, like all the details, all the good stuff. So it's going to be a great seminar. I'm really excited. All right, let's go over the agenda really quickly. We're going to get started. So during this seminar, we're going to be going over an overview on the AP courses and more specifically AP art classes. We also want to be going over why it is important to take AP art and how it can benefit your kids' future. There's so much as parents we're thinking about for college applications, for high schools, for this, for that. So we hope that we can be here to support you guys and let you guys know everything you need to know. We're also going to be talking about the hows, explaining how you guys can better prepare yourself and what you need to know to be ready for these types of courses. We're also going to have a special section later on that we're going to be having two of our previous students going to be talking about their experience as AP students, which is really cool because you guys can hear from their point of view exactly how it happened. And if you have any questions, we can go over that later. We will then also be talking about the CalColor advantages and disadvantages of like taking at your high school or taking CalColor. We have also our last part is going to be talking about your pathway. So how we can better help you optimize, your journey to AP art and AP courses. Yeah. We have a lot of speakers that are going to be joining us today. So we're going to go over that right now. All right, so of course, if you guys don't know who I am, I'm Miss Christy. I'm going to be hosting today's seminar. Some of you guys might know me from the San Jose site. Joining us today, we also have some of the AP program teachers, Mr. Alvin, Mr. Chow, Mr. Tian, and Mr. Joseph. And like I said earlier, we have two special guests today who are actually longtime students from CalColor, which is super cool. They're going to be talking about their experiences taking classes at CalColor through the AP program. We have our first speaker is Carolyn, and our next one is Shreya. Actually, I was told that both of these students have been with CalColor for like a very long time. Apparently, Carolyn's been here since Miss Lan opened up in her garage, which is pretty cool. And Shreya's also been here for such a long time as well, like when the digital program had started. So I think that's just like really exciting and really shows how much we've grown as a school. Yeah. So what is AP art? So we have so if a lot of you guys might be wondering what even like an AP course is and what AP art is, so I'm going to be passing the mic to Mr. Joseph so you can talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Christy. So what are AP classes? So AP itself stands for Advanced Placement. It's a type of exam that is offered by the College Board, right? It is offering a college level curriculum, which means you're learning what college level classes are teaching. It covers a super wide range of subjects. And usually at the very, very end of all of the courses, there is an exam, right? So what is AP art itself? So AP art is a little bit different. In AP art and design, you'll be creating a portfolio instead of taking an exam at the very, very end. And then you'll submit that online to get your AP score at the end of the AP art course itself. So below, we have a couple of examples from our previous students. Now, AP art is divided into three major categories. We've got AP 2D art and design, AP 3D art and design, and AP drawing, right? Currently, we offer AP 2D art and design and AP drawing at CalColor. AP 3D is in the works. Okay, so how do you want to prepare for your portfolio? Now, first up, you want to double check what are the policies for the portfolio itself? What are your requirements and what do you have to do, right? Once you have a good idea of what are the things that you need to do, you can start planning out the pieces that you want to add into your portfolio. And that also includes producing the actual portfolio itself, creating a multitude of pieces. And at the very, very end, you want to submit your portfolio online for scoring.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph. So, a lot of you guys here might be wondering why you should take AP Art, and some of you might actually have are still undecided and not sure about the benefits. So, Mr. Joseph, can you speak a little bit more on that?
Of course. So, the first thing about AP Art is that by taking AP Art, you stand a chance to boost your GPA itself, right? Taking an AP course can increase your GPAs because most schools take a weighted GPA system. So typically, a regular class A counts for 4 points. However, in an AP class, your A can get up to 5 points. So if you do really well in your AP courses, it can boost your overall GPA, even more so than like regular classes, right? So why it matters? Obviously, schools look at your GPA when you're trying to apply to college. More so, scholarships and honor programs also take a very important, take a high importance when they're looking at your GPA, right? Next up, GPA, the AP courses are also recognized nationally. So looking at these colleges such as University of Michigan, Carnegie Mellon, Purdue, and Northeastern University, right? They actually accept AP courses as one of their substitutes. So once you finish AP Art, that you can actually use it to subsidize or substitute some of their basic foundational classes. Over 1,600 colleges accept AP Art, including STEAM majors from Duke, MIT, UCLA, UC Berkeley, University of Texas, and also art and design majors such as CalArts, Parsons, SVA, SAIC, and MICA. As I said earlier, you get to substitute a couple of courses, so it helps save you time and money. What I mean by that is that you actually earn college credits and transfer these credits into your college, right? So some STEAM majors like architecture, computer science, electrical engineering, and art and design majors such as design and visual communication, film studies, studio arts, and theater arts are some of those college credits that you can earn while still being in high school, right? The fourth important thing is that it counts towards your scholarship opportunities. Now, typically, scholarships look at your academic performance, right? Leadership and involvement, special skills and achievements, letters of recommendation, and personal statements when you're trying to get a scholarship for your tuition. What AP can actually do for you is count towards the special skills or achievements section, right? So once you have a good AP score, it actually shows very well on this section. And finally, right, having a good AP art portfolio doubles as a college-ready portfolio. So below, I have a couple of examples. On the very left, this piece has been used towards Art Center, the New School, SAIC, SVA, Northeastern. And then the middle piece was sent for UCSB, University of Michigan, Carnegie Mellon, and Scholastics. And the final surrealistic piece was sent to CMU, USC, Northeastern, and University of Texas, right? So all of these pieces are used towards their college applications. The very left piece actually earned a total of 388,000 in scholarships. So to summarize, taking AP Art can boost your GPA. It can earn you national recognition across over 1,600 colleges, right? It saves you time and money when you actually go into college itself by earning college credits. It can gain you scholarship opportunities. And finally, it can double as a college-ready portfolio.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Joseph. That was really informative. I hope that kind of answered everybody's questions on like why it's important to take AP courses and how it can benefit your child's future and college applications. Um, but the hard part is actually figuring out, how we're going to begin, how we're going to start. So, Mr. Chow is going to be diving a little bit deeper onto this topic. So, take it away, Mr. Chow.
Okay, thank you, Christy. Hello, I'm Chow, and I'm the previous AP coordinator, and also I created our AP curriculum. And to talk about how to how to prepare or how should I begin preparing the your AP portfolio. I think we can start off from what should you choose. Um, there's either AP drawing or 2D art design we are working on right now. And first of all, you need to be ninth grade or above to register AP exam. And the way to choose your practice depend on your interest on a certain format of the art, the techniques you are familiar with, or the subject matter or topic you are going to develop. So the next, Alvin, the next. Right. So we listed out some work samples here. On the left are the drawing works, and on the right are the 2D art design works. So in the 2D drawing, you would basically experiment with a variety of the materials and the processes as you develop your drawing skills. At the end of the course, you will submit a portfolio that demonstrates a different drawing abilities taught in the course, which kind of include the mark making, the lines, surface, space, um, light and shade, and also the overall composition, what we call that a visual structure. On the right side for the 2D art and design, you basically develop the skills using the materials and the processes such as graphic design, photography, collage, printmaking, fashion illustration, and others. As the course concludes, you will submit a portfolio that showcase your ability to practice, experiment, and revise your own work while communicating your ideas about art and design. And you may find out there's some overlap between the drawing and 2D design portfolios. So for the 2D design, you may include the issues as stated above in, like I mentioned, in the 2D drawing. But however, 2D design is more concerned with the principles of design for its success. So a 2D design portfolio may include photography and like a graphic design things and digital work. And also the 2D design portfolio may be entirely photography or entirely graphic design or a combination. So whereas the drawing portfolio will most likely not using photography or graphic design. So the next, yeah. So how much do I prepare or how many pieces do I make? So basically you have a one academic year in the CalColor, we starting from the August in the fall to the early May in the spring. So like through the one academic year. And how many pieces should I draw? And basically you're going to prepare 15 pieces for the system investigation and come with 5 pieces of selected work. So for the system investigation, this section requires you to submit a body of related work that demonstrate an inquiry-based system investigation of the material process and the ideas through the practice, experimentation, and the revision. And also it includes 15 images, some of which may show the details and the process documentation. And you also provide the writing evidence to explain your inquiry and how your investigation develops through the practice, experimentation, and revision. And for the selected work, on the other part, this section features 5 artworks that demonstrate skillful synthesis of the materials, process, and ideas, and they can be relating to or unrelating to your original topic or subject matter, or it could be a combination of the artworks in the system investigation. So you also provide the commentary on your selected works, identifying the material process and ideas used. So the thing is, you can have a little bit, tips or the tricks that some of the works, like, in the selected works, some of the works may come from the system investigation and they're not required to do so. But actually so which means that in total, only need to submit 15 pieces to save some time. Because for the selected works, it can feature works that are related to the system investigation or unrelated works. The next. So what is the practice, experimentation, and the revision? So besides the completed pieces or the 15 pieces we mentioned earlier, also you need to include the section for indicating the process of the documentation. And usually it takes like 2 pieces for the revision and also about like around 3 pieces for the process. So for the practice, or we call it studies, it means the repeated use of materials, process, and the ideas to achieve your final outcomes. Experimentation means the testing your like new materials you are not familiar with, or it showcase your process, or even for the failed process, and the ideas. And the revision means that you are showing you are capable to making a proposal for changing or correction or improvement based on your old piece. So overall for this section, we call it PER. They're kind of checking on your like investigating the material process and ideas that artists and designer usually use, and also communicating your ideas about the works of art and design, and practicing experimenting and revising as you create your own work. So it's like a very like overarching bundle of the portfolio things you need to showcase to the judge. The next. So what is the inquiry? What we call it writing, and there's two like big parts of the writing you need to like input when you're submitting your portfolio. The first section is for the system investigation, and you get a chance to have 2 major paragraphs to generally how to say like showcase your general ideas, your context, or your general process to achieve your topic or subject matter. And also you get additional like individual little description to interpret your each piece of artworks. But just a little bit tip is for the selected words, you don't get a chance to have the 2 major paragraphs. So you get a little slot to put in the individual idea section that I marked as the little star right there to show, because the selected words, they can be unrelated to each other. So you got a chance to interpret each individual ones in this little part. So in the AP art and design, the writing evidence refer to the writing components that accompany the visual artworks in your portfolio, and it is specifically within a system investigation section. And this evidence provides a context for your artistic process, explaining the inquiry, practice, experimentation, and revision involved in the process of creating your works. And it is the way for you to demonstrate your thinking and creative process to the college board. So for the 2 main paragraphs on the left, the paragraph part 1, you need to clearly and simply state the central idea of your concentration, and you insert the list of questions you have explored. And most of you started with an overarching question and then had many questions that spurred out of that. And as you wrote about them, help the reader to understand and how to guide experimentation and revision. And for the second paragraph, it's being a little bit more specific, and you're going to explain how your work will demonstrate your intent and the system investigation of your idea. Describe how your system investigation shows evidence of the practice, experimentation, and revision guided by your question or inquiry from the first paragraph. So this is a general like a structure for your writing response. The next, yeah. So the AP, is there any like certain requirements for the APR materials or specific style? And actually, not really. Like you can tell that from on the left and the right, the AP drawing, including the traditional drawing, or even you can do digital drawing, and also can do painting, printmaking, mixed media works, or etc. And on the for the 2D design, you can do, like we mentioned earlier, the graphic design, digital imaging, photography, fabric design, or even fashion design, illustration, collage. So it's like very like a broad range for you to explore. So for this question, there's no certain like requirements for the material wise. The next, So what the parents should know, or the students should know about the grading rubric. So the thing is, for the system investigation, it will take the majority part of your scoring thing, like it counts for 60%. For the selected work, it counts for another 40%. And like we mentioned before, like if you really check into their rubric, they have very specific like a point that you need to hit to get the higher score. So for the statistical investigation, they're mainly check on your like a process of the practice, experimentation, and revision, like we say, it's called the PER, right, in short. And systematic, and also they're going to check on your material exploration process and ideas, and also the overall synthesis of the material application, the process and ideas. And also in the writing part, they also have a very specific rubric things. You need to show that you encourage your question that really guided your system investigation. So it's very connected, cohesive, or we say the consistent like art making process. And also describe how your system investigation shows the evidence of practice, experimentation, and revision guided by your questions. And for the selected works, like I said, we mainly working on the 2D or drawing, right? So they're gonna check on your use of two-dimensional elements and the principles, including the point, link, shape, plane, layer, form, space, texture, color value, opacity, transparency, time, unity, variety, rhythm, movement, proportion, scale, balance, emphasis. There's a whole bunch of like a lot of various visual elements they're gonna check on your artworks. But the thing is, you don't have to really display all of them. Like different people or the students have the different, like art language to express themselves. And also they come with also the writing part for the individual little idea description, right? In the selected work. So this point refer to your ability to identify and briefly explain your ideas and processes. And this does not need to be done in complete sentences because they only leave you like little slots, right? And also spelling does not count a lot. And however, you can try running your work through a word processing program to double check word count and spelling, chop unnecessary words and then cut and paste. I think that's pretty much all for how to prepare the APR portfolio, but we definitely have a lot of more details during our class going. So I'll pass it back to Miss Christie.
Hi, yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Chow. So for the next part of the seminar, we're going to be moving on to the student case study section. We'll be passing it on actually to Mr. Joseph so he can share a little bit more about his students' experiences.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Christy. So first up, I have my student over here. She is actually focusing on a topic of mythology and stories connected to constellations. So for her ideas is actually to visualize illustrations using symbolism and characters from each constellation-based mythology or folklore, right? So you can see from the background that there is a bunch of different illustrations based on the different kinds of star signs and constellations itself. At the very beginning, the student actually started off really late with me. She joined halfway in the year, and she had kind of like a strange idea. She doesn't have a very solid theme yet. So at the very, very first picture, you can see she is actually working more on like traditional mediums. The student actually has a very strong fundamental in art. I can see that she can draw, and she was studying digital painting with me at the time. But then she came to me in need of help because she wasn't getting as much attention in school, and then she was running out of time. So she came to me and we started formulating some ideas. In the second picture, we're actually thinking about different kinds of stories and constellations. Did a little bit of like research and started looking into individual stories. And we started thinking about how like a peacock was being represented by this constellation, with the story focusing on the tail looking like eyes. So we started creating a very abstract style illustration here for her. Diagram number 3 is actually based on Cetus. This was a whale style constellation itself. It actually came out super duper nice at the very end. And you can see in a lot of these illustrations here that the student actually is really solid in digital painting. She can capture textures actually quite quickly as well. So with her fundamental skills, it actually went really, really quickly for the rest of her portfolio itself, right? And a lot of her compositions, especially in diagram number 3, I tried to draw more of a connection between like the human element, as well as exercising a little bit more onto the 2D development and design skills. So a lot of it went to composition, visual direction, and helping this story come to life. Ultimately, our main goal here is still focusing on the mythology aspect, right? In diagram 4, you can probably see that this is more about the fish style constellation. I believe this is one of the zodiacs, right? The story behind it was more about like pouring water directly into the mouth of the fish, and it was like a galactic size fish. So we're using a lot of traditional and folklore based imagery here to illustrate this point, right? I remember for number 5, we also went in and she wanted really to test her own like technical skills here. So she went in to illustrate a crystal swan for this specific constellation drawing. Finally, at number 6, we actually had a really, really long history for this one because there was a lot of back and forth about the story of this piece. The story was more or less about a hunter versus a ferret that was about to bring summer into autumn. And there was a lot of debate going on about how to actually illustrate this. There was a lot of forced perspective. So technical skill wise, this was also a very challenging piece. I had to talk a lot with her and work with her as well as her main primary teacher in school to actually work out this piece properly. Finally, we were able to complete this piece after quite a long time. It was actually one of the more successful pieces at the very, very end. All right, so if we take a look at the next step, when we started off, like I said, she started pretty late. And I remember at the very beginning, she didn't really have a very clear idea. Right now, earlier I talked about like her theme being about constellations, but when we first started, right, she actually did not have that as her main theme. It was more about fairy tales, and we were thinking about like the Sisters of Fate. It was not connected at all to constellations, right? So I had to think a lot about how to actually formulate a plan with her. However, to her benefit, she is really solid at digital art, and she has a very strong storytelling predilection here. So she's actually had a lot of good potential. So when planning around with her, I analyzed her existing pieces, right? And then I took a look at some of the potential topics that she has. Based on what she had before, we decided to go into something that was a little bit more focused, something that she can actually do some solid research on. And then after researching together, we discussed on how to visualize these existing folklores. So she didn't have to invent too much stories and maximize her skill in digital painting itself. So this way, it can actually showcase more of her technical skills and also showcase more of her design skills as well, which is one of the scoring rules in our AP 2D and design portfolio. The final result that came of it was that she scored a 5. A couple of the pieces were also scored some awards in the Scholastics competition, and now she is very confident in creative thinking. She's still one of my digital painting students and portfolio students, and she always comes up with the most insane and wacky ideas that I'm very happy to see.
That is so cool, Mr. Joseph. Thank you so much for sharing these pieces with us and experiences about your student. Up next is actually going to be Mr. Alvin. He's also going to be sharing his experiences with his students as well.
Oh, hi everyone. Thank you for being here. Today I'm going to show you a real example of an AP 2D design student portfolio. We're using it to explain what AP is really looking for and how you can support your kid, especially if they haven't started yet. What is 2D? So first we need to be clear. 2D design isn't about how well you can draw. It's about how you can use design to share an idea. The AP looks three things. First, do you like explore one idea in a different ways, and second, can people understand your message just by looking at your work? And did a plan, try, and improve your art along the way? In short, they are wanted to see thinking, creativity, and a process, not just pretty pictures. Now to show how this works in practice, it looks at the real student example. The students begin with a very personal question. Her topic was, how does grow up with parents who run a business influence one's life? This is a strong question. And what powerful is how she turned the idea into clear, emotional, visual story. Let's walk through few her artworks and see how design help her express the feelings. So first, let's look at the image one. In this piece, we see her mom in a Zoom meeting while the child sent messages. The messages has been read it, but there's no reply. The table is full of sticky notes, and the child left a question like, should I cook for myself? This is a quiet but powerful way to show the feeling of being ignored and emotion distance between them. And the next picture three, here we can see mom is answering a phone call labeled work, looking directly at the audience. The background is bold orange, creating a feeling of pressure of tension. The composition use color and the expression to deliver a sense of overwhelming stress. The image four, the girl is reflected in a mirror, gazing at the mom, but the girl looks back with clear discomfort. This contrast between now how parents see their children and how kids feel inside is through thoughtful and real. This is the kind of emotional insight AP loves. Finally, in image 5, the kitchen is filled with takeout box and the dirty dishes. No people are present, but the empty scenes tells us so much. Through this lifeless scenes, the students using environment along to communicate the emotion distance at home. A powerful example of visual storytelling. As you can see, these images are not just about what it draw. They are all about how design is used to tell a story, explore personal theme, and communicate complicate emotions. And how make her portfolio even stronger is what come after these finished piece. In image 6, she also shared her sketch and the notes, including color testing, composition draft, and idea changes. This is very important for the process and the revision part of the AP score. It shows that her art wasn't just a final product. It was a result of planning, experimenting, and improving. And here, so if you are building your own AP2D portfolio, how can you create a work that feel dishonest and well developed? Here are 4 simple steps you can start doing. They might seem small, but they really help you to control idea to your art. First, ask yourself what I have experienced that really stuck with me. It could be something about your family, your culture, school pressure, friendship, or identity. Your topic doesn't need to be dynamic. It's just need to be real. That's what gives it power. And the second, pay attention to everyday moments. Take a few photos each week of things that catch your eye, then pause and ask, why did this stand out? Why feeling or idea does it give to me? Those small observations often turn into a strong art piece. You are collecting the piece of your visual language. The next is write things down as you go. So for each piece, write down a few thought. Why this layout? Why these colors? What changed from my first sketch? This helps you to think more clear about your choice, and it's make your final writing much easier later on. The last is remember the AP wants to see your journal, not just a finished product. That means your process matter and your growth is matter. Okay, so now we can move on to another important part of AP, which is drawing. So some parents might wonder, what is the difference between the 2D design and the drawing? Drawing includes like a painting, collage, different mediums. It shows like a drawing skill and help tell a visual story. Let's look at the real AP drawing example. This is the students explore the question is, what kind of impact does childhood have on a person? She looked back at her childhood memories full of joy, play, imagination, but also how those moments slowly transformed as she grew up, feeling of confusion, pressure, and loss. Let's also go through a few her artworks. Image one, the wave of the paper. To create this dynamic wave, the student didn't just draw it. She used a very special thick white paint to give it a raised texture surface. Why? Because the wave represents the stress and the pressure. The heavy relief-like texture makes the wave feel like coming off the pager. She doesn't choose the medium just for make it looks cool. She chose it because it feels overwhelming, just like her emotion. And in image two, this piece is made with like a soft pastel, which has a gentle and a blurry quality. The softness is important. It reflects how memory feels, not sharp, but foggy and emotional. She threading photos through needles, trying to sew together her past and the present. And the soft pastels make it feel personal, quiet, and a little bit uncertain, just like her feeling. Again, the medium matched this message. In image three, three faces at a birthday. Here, the student used a color pencil. She used them with very bold and strong strokes. Because this is a drawing to showing two feelings. The young girl is happy, but the older face up on the top looks serious and far away. The brighter color, like the pink cake and the glowing candles, show how fun of the childhood, but the calm face above shows pressure and growing up. So the colored pencil are not just making the arts looks nice. They helps show the mixed of emotion inside of her. In image four, students chose to using the pencil with a very flat composition to show a sense of feeling of calm and still. This piece is about the lose of innocence, the quiet end of the child play. So childhood play. By removing color, the students takes away the energy of the childhood. It feels still, maybe even forgotten. This piece composition and the soft shading make it feel peaceful but a little bit sad. Last picture, image five, the toy and the cardboard. This one is special. Student chose using the cardboard with the oil pastel. Why cardboard? Because it's rough, used and unclean, not clean, just like old memory that fade and break down over time. Even though the toys are soft and cute, the rough background gives us a sense of the time passing. So again, the material supports the emotion. Okay, so final, I also give this little bit like a small tips for student who are planning to doing AP. So now we already looked through this artwork. I believe everyone has a very clear about what is AP. AP is like the medium matters a lot. But let me ask you some questions. Is this all about make it more fancy, or it's like make it more decorational, make it adding those things to make the art looks more impressive? The answer actually is no. So what's the drawing really about? Yeah, so every materials chosen is for a purpose, to match the feeling, to support your story. They're not just to make looks cool. Yeah, so thank you for very much. That's a little look into for the AP to me. Hope it gives something new idea. And then I'll pass back to our host now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Alvin. Yeah, that was really informational and great. And your students' works are like breathtaking and beautiful. So that's really, really wonderful to hear. Actually, that being said, Carolyn, which is one of Mr. Alvin's students, is going to be sharing a little bit about her work and her experiences in AP art. Yeah, thank you so much, Carolyn.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. So my name is Carolyn Bai, and I'm currently a senior at American High School. And I've been with CalColor since I was 4 years old, so like majority of my life. And I took AP 2D art with Mr. Alvin in my sophomore and junior year. So my sustained investigation is how can art reveal the different types of female suffering that begins at adolescence? So since I know myself, I know that I'm like a really slow artist. So I ended up starting in sophomore year, and then I did AP art at my school and at CalColor in my junior year. So the reason I chose this specific sustained investigation was because when I first started out in sophomore year, this was like the issues that I was personally dealing with. So I wanted to like express my own problems throughout my artwork. And so these 5 are my selected artworks, which is like my 5 favorite ones. And my sustained investigation is really personal. So you'll notice that like a lot of the characters or figures in the drawings are me, except for the first one. The first one is not me. And I spent the amount of time that I spent on like each artwork definitely varied a lot. So for example, like the first one I finished in the span of 24 hours, and then the very bottom right one I took around like 4 months to finish it. And that was the first one that I did. So for like these 5, I'll tell you a little bit about them. So for the first one, I wanted to paint something that was like related to how society views the female nude, and I wanted to like put it in like a pure perspective. And then for the second one, I wanted to this one is just about like my obsession with my appearance, just regarding my skin. And then the third one is like how I noticed like in America, there's a lot of sexualization of Asian cultures, especially Asian women. And then the fourth one is also about my appearance, but this one's like in regards to clothes instead of like my face. And then the last one, the one I spent the longest on, is about how um it's like obsessing over what I put in my body. Mr. Alvin, can we go next? Thank you. So this is the rest of my portfolio. I like the ideas. Like since mine was so personal, I really like the ideas of every single one of my pieces. But for these, I just wasn't as satisfied with the outcome. So I used a lot of different mediums. Like as you can see, I did digital, I did a lot of acrylic, I did some watercolor, and then I also did a lot of color pencil. And I definitely had a lot of struggles with my sustained investigation. Like the reason I wasn't so happy with these outcomes was because when I first started, the issues that I was dealing with was definitely like very different than the issues that I dealt with toward the end of my sustained investigation. So I had a lot of problems with like all of my pieces that I had already done not really fitting under my sustained investigation. So I actually did create 15 artworks, but I only submitted 12 finished pieces, and then I had to scrap 3 pieces because they didn't really fit under my investigation anymore. And Mr. Allen, can we go next again? Thank you. So then since I had to scrap 3 pieces, I had to create 3 process artworks. So as you can see in the beginning, I started off with a sketch. And then after sketching, I would find a lot of pictures online and then I would find my own pictures. I would take my own pictures and then I would combine everything together and then create a new sketch before starting on the actual piece. And Mr. Alvin helped me finish these at the very end. And this is, oh yeah, can we go next, Mr. Alvin? Thank you. And then like advice that I would give to future AP Art students, since I every single piece takes a really long time, but I think something that I wasn't really accounting for in the beginning was how much time it would take to come up with a new idea. So I definitely think I wasted a lot of time like finishing a piece and then coming up with a new idea and then starting a new piece. And in order to come around that, I just started to like draw down every single thought that I had into my sketchbook. So as you can see, there was a lot of thoughts. And I definitely did not use all of them. Like a lot of them I just scrapped. But then this helped me a lot because like instead of waiting until I was finished to come up with a new idea, I could just come up with a new idea as I was going along. And then it would save like a lot of time because I could just get started on a new one immediately. And some other advice that I would give is definitely having a clear sustained investigation at the very start or like a stronger sustained investigation. Like you don't have to have it perfect, but I I regret wasting a lot of time on those extra 3 pieces when I could have been doing something else. And also that to pace yourself, I wasn't very good at that. And I definitely had a lot of help from Mr. Alvin because he would set like realistic goals for me every single week. So then after doing that, I didn't have to cram as much toward the end. I still had to cram though. And then the last thing would be to not really doubt yourself. Like I think at the very beginning, I would like scrap a lot of my ideas because I thought they were bad. But then like as time went on, I would just draw down everything, like even if it was just ridiculous, but I would still draw it down just like in case that it can be used or incorporated into something else. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really great advice, actually, and advice I actually give to a lot of students that I've worked with in the past as well. Just put everything down. It doesn't really matter. Don't filter yourself. Just let it flow. Creativity works best that way. So thank you so much for sharing, Carolyn. Those really, really great points. Our next speaker is actually another student of ours, and she worked a lot with Mr. Joseph. She's a digital student. Her name is Shreya. So go ahead and tell us about your experiences with AP.
Hello everyone. My name is Shreya Nadagoda, and I'm currently a senior at Evergreen Valley High School. So just background about me, I was a CalColor student, I believe, from the end of middle school to the end of my junior year. And I am actually not going like into art. So I'm a computer science major. So that just like say showing you guys how, you can still be an artist, but pursue STEM or like other aspects of life. And I think doing digital art has really helped me in terms of like app development or like website creation because a lot of UI UX design requires art. So it's been pretty helpful for my computer science journey as well. So um it's been a while since I've even seen these paintings, but my portfolio basically surrounded a lot about my identity as a South Asian, a lot of personal problems that I had similar to Carolyn. And I focused a lot more on using symbolism and like myself in my paintings. However, the difference is that I believe 95% of my portfolio was digital. I think I only had maybe one or two traditional pieces. I just stopped doing traditional art once I got older because it was just more convenient for me to paint on my iPad on the go. My school offers AP art, but I did not take it through my school because I already had 4 or 5 APs in my school and I didn't want to overload on school APs. And a lot of schools limit how much APs you can take. So this is the only exam I took on my own. So I basically prioritized all of my STEM courses in school and then did art through CalColor, if that makes sense. And so on the top left, I have my painting about just how South Asian body hair is very prominent in our, like, made fun of sometimes. It's just how I felt like this need to shave all the time when I used to see like other girls and how that just assimilated into my identity. On the bottom left, I paint shows a painting about my journey through menstruation because I got my period at a very young age of age 9 and how I just had to battle through that because it was stigmatized to get your period at a young age or just considered weird. So how I battled through that. Painting on the right isn't necessarily about me, but just talking about how a lot of women suffer through the whole, should I focus on my home life or should I focus on my work life? This is something that I just saw through my mom, my grandma, just like a bunch of women like in my family. You can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So on the left, just like my brainstorm process, if I'm being very honest, Mr. Joseph knows this, but I don't really brainstorm. I just start painting, so I had to fake my brainstorming for the AP portfolio. I actually just kind of start painting. I believe I did the painting before I did the brainstorm. So that's just a painting of me. It's called Aftermath. A lot of these were submitted to Scholastic as well. So I believe this was one of the Scholastic winners. It just had to do with just feeling stressed because I'm an overthinker and I stress out way too much, especially when it comes to grades and things like that. On the bottom, just a simple painting I did towards the end about my asthma and how I always felt like how like I envision my lungs, like one lung, like maybe like how I wish I could like climb out of my lung, but the other one just showing how I still feel trapped in it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, this one I actually did plan in advance though, because I really did try for this one to plan. So the brainstorming was done before the painting. This is my traditional piece. So these are the only two I did. And the reason I did these was because I submitted at the same time to the National Young Arts Competition. I didn't win. However, I believe maybe there was like a traditional art requirement. So on the left, I did one just more with graphite. Just had to do with like the submissive nature of I guess some woman like some identity like I guess the idea that women have to be submissive in certain social cult contexts. And on the right just had to do with my personal inferiority about like my nose and just how I didn't like having a more like masculine or aquiline shaped nose. So I used actual plastic to represent this like ideology of how people get plastic surgery. Because even like one point in my life I was like, should I get it? Obviously, and now I'm personally like not towards it, obviously, but just showing how that transition and how my ideology of plastic surgery looking back and how I had to take actual pictures of myself. If you do digital painting and you do decide to paint yourself, your photo log is gonna be really embarrassing in public because sometimes I'll just open my camera or like my photo album and then people will see the weirdest selfies of myself and think that something's going on with me. But I'm like, no, this is just for my digital artwork. Everything's okay. So yes, keep that in mind. Okay, next slide. Oh, so this one on the left is a painting. I'm a classical Indian dancer, so I was just a painting about my traditional dance that I do and just the different hand gestures relating to my favorite goddesses. So again, connecting back to my religion, Hinduism, and then just depicting the dance that I do. So I do kuchipudi. And on the right, I have like pictures of, my actual feet and like my hands and just the fabric that I reference. And for this one, it's actually interesting. I referenced an external picture. So I had to also cite that on my AP portfolio because you're allowed to use external references as long as you cite your source. And just that was a process I had to navigate. So Mr. Joseph helped me through that. And the painting on the left here is a depiction of how my mom once just like said a comment like, oh, you might, sometimes when you do this, like when you get very like angry, remind me of Durga Devi, this go Indian goddess. I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea for a painting. So I decided to paint myself as like a goddess emerging from within, except this is like a very powerful goddess. I just think that this painting had more to do with symbolism, not necessarily needed to have a deeper meaning. Painting on the right, however, went through a few transitions over time. I kind of reused and recycled it. This painting over here just has to do with my severe hair loss, probably to do with stress. By the way, guys, don't be stressed and don't get hair loss at a young age. It's not good for you. But this had to do with just like how I felt like as time was going on, I was losing my hair and also the dandruff. It's more visible if you see it not zoomed in, but I struggled a lot with dandruff growing up, so that's something I also incorporated as well.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sheree. Your works are so beautiful, especially for someone who's not even going to be an art major. But I love that you're able to still pursue art and really put all of this like personal touch to your pieces. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Up next, we're going to be talking about, why choose CalColor for your AP art. So thank you so much for all of that. Mr. Chow, you're going to be sharing with us and yeah, take it away. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Christie. So why choose CalColor for the AP art? We're gonna start off from the compared to the high school for the full score, like a score 5 and a passing rate. In CalColor Academy, we get over 85% for the full score, versus to the 13% in the high school, and also passing rate is 100%, compared to the maybe lower than 80% in the high school. So the next one, and also we get a much higher time efficiency. To start your AP course earlier, you can actually skip a lot of like prerequisite or required like a pre-classes in the high school. Some of them called Art 1, Art 2, or like a pre-AP courses. And before you get into AP program in the high school, but in the CalColor is kind of like a shortcut. You can just starting your APR portfolio preparation in your ninth grade. And the next, right, it's kind of save time for your other APs preparation. Next one, and also it's our big honor that one of our students was selected for the inclusion in the 2023 AP Art and Design exhibit in the College Work Collection, and the rate was only 0.77%. And the next one, and we have a very structured curriculum and prepares advanced art students to prepare and refine their artistic techniques and methods to generate original artworks. And the curriculum emphasizes the creation of a portfolio that demonstrates skillful synthesis of the materials, process, and ideas, and with a focus on both system investigation and selected works. And you will engage in the writing and verbal communication to present and critique your own artworks, while also studying the social, cultural, and historical dimensions or aspects of the art. And the course culminate in the submission of a portfolio that reflects your artistic growth and ability to apply the artistic theories and methodologies across the various art forms and the disciplines. So the general structure for our curriculum is there's going to be like over 36 weeks curriculum, and we have the weekly assignment plus 2 hours of a homework a week. And this is, the APR is a very dedicated program or the project. You need to really have a lot of, after class time to dedicated to do some makeovers or continue the execution from the class in CalColor. And also our pace is to finish or complete a one piece artwork in every 2 weeks. So throughout this a lot of slides, there are over 12 inspirational prompts to be at the multiple aspects to not only inspire you for the AP portfolio, but also kind of broaden your horizon, which is really beneficial for the future art practices. It's including the visuals, the curriculum content, including the visual structure, color scheme, materials, art movement, narratives and storytelling, and also it also include an additional writing tutorial and the various additional researches. Next. So we got a very strong teaching team as well, and we have Mr. Alvin, Mr. Joseph, Mr. Chow, Mr. Tian, and also Mr. Shang. And a lot of them are active artists with numerous exhibitions in the States. And also we have a lot of publications, artist interviews, and the permanent collections. Some of our art teachers are the art curator and the collectors themselves. And also we have a lot of college level kind of many years college level teaching experience, and also various industries working experience in the entertainment, animation, film, game, and UI and UX design. And next. So we pay a lot of individual attention to our students. We customize a one-on-one portfolio plan and specialized instructions based on their background, their strength, and interest. Also, we have a lot of dedicated time on each student outside the class. We kind of communicate with the students through the email and even WeChat, and to kind of continually talk about their artworks they made in the class, and also give it more like a feedback even outside the class. And we have sufficient interaction and instant feedback to the student artworks, and also for the class capacity, it's basically like a 1 on 10 teacher to students ratio. So the next. And also we have pretty good tracking system to really keep the students on track. And we are using the Gantt chart as a structured and like a project by project timeline that you establish with the teacher for a clear timeline for the students to keep track of the current and future progress. And it really help you with the time management and create a very clear plan ahead. And we're also using the Google Classroom to share and upload our study materials or any references from our individual classes. And we post assignments and also any additional instructions, all of them in the Google Classroom, and also keep connected with the students. If the students have any questions or any feedback, they can also upload any of their works in progress in the Google Classroom for us to keep checking with. Next, please. Yeah, so for the studio environment, we have very roomy and spacious the working space. It's led them to be very immersed and also communicative and activated. And these are a bunch of photos from our current AP classroom. I think that's pretty much all for our AP program for CalColor Academy. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chow. We will end this seminar with Mr. Tian explaining the different pathways and the most optimal course of action to get to APR and to make sure that you guys are optimizing your experience. I know a couple of you guys have already asked this question in the chat about how to get to APR and what's the best way to start AP classes. So Mr. Tian's going to answer that for you right now.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Christie. Hi, everyone. I'm Mr. Tian. I will also be one of the AP Art course teacher for the next semester. And thank you so much for joining us today. And let me share our AP course study pathway and also the schedule with you. So if you are thinking about taking our AP course, this will give you a clear idea of how to plan ahead. So since our AP course is 1-year program, so here how we suggest you are planning. So if you are in the 9th grade, after our portfolio review, we might recommend you either start our AP course directly or first spend a year in our portfolio development preps or portfolio development class or the digital painting courses to build stronger art skills before you join our AP course. And if you are 10th or 11th grade, this is a perfect time to enroll because your AP score will be ready in time to support your college applications. So if you are 12th grade, you can still join if your main goal is earn college credits, but the scores might not arrive early enough for your college applications. So after completing our AP course, we recommend you continue in our portfolio development course to keep creating even more amazing artworks for competitions or your college portfolios. Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay, next, let's take a look at our course schedule and the structure. So our 1-year AP course runs for 38 weeks across the fall and the spring semesters. with 2 classes per week. It covers both AP drawing and also AP 2D design categories. This is a very challenging course, so a portfolio review is required for the enrollment. And then the student must be ready to have a good fundamental art skills. There will be a weekly homework, and we will ask parents to support students in completing their artworks at home. So there is a lot of homework to finish. So you better not missing any classes. Good attendance is necessary to stay on schedule. And please note that our AP course is temporarily not associated with GPA. So here's a simple breakdown for our course schedule. So in the first 2 weeks, we will guide you through brainstorming ideas and deciding your AP themes. For the week 3 to 28, we will introduce 13 project prompts to help you complete your 15 sustained investigation portfolio. And each prompt helps you spark ideas by exploring different styles, materials, viewpoints, and an artist, so the student can create their original piece. Then we will spend 2 weeks preparing your written evidence and 4 weeks finalizing your portfolio for submission. So the portfolio submission usually happening in the early May, which is around like now. After that, the student will have 4 weeks for their independent creative art project and then preparing for a small art exhibition in our campus. So during the course, our teaching team also offer group critiques every 2 weeks and to check on student progress. Additionally, we will provide one-on-one midterm and a final review to make sure the students stay on track and then ready for the submission. All right. Okay, that's the quick overview of our AP study pathway and then this course schedule. So feel free to drop any questions in the chat. Thanks. I think that's all for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tian. We would like to thank everyone for showing up today. We will be ending the seminar with a Q&A. So please, if you have not put any questions in your chat, please do so now. We will be organizing these questions and reviewing them, and we'll resume shortly. But in the meantime, please enjoy a slideshow of some beautiful artworks made by our previous AP students.
So we're going to spend maybe 1 to 2 minutes to collecting all the questions. So yeah, I'm going to play some like a previous students AP art during that time. And also for 2025 and to 2026, AP class now is open for enrollment. So if you're interested, later on you can contact us by scanning the like a QR code or something on the screen later.
All righty, let's get started. All right, we're gonna start from the very beginning and then work our way down. I think that's the best way to go about this. So, all right, here we are at the top. And then I'll kind of present the questions that you guys have been putting in the chat, and then we'll have our speakers answer them as freely as they want to. Alrighty, so let's see. Our first question is, do you need to choose only one AP art course? Does any of the speakers like to answer this one?
So you can enroll as much as you can. So based on your your schedule, and if you want to do more than one AP in the art catalog, you can do so. Yeah. So but something you need to pay attention notice is you can using the art you did. For example, there's something in the AP drawing, and you cannot use twice in the design AP.
Yeah, so you can pick as many courses as you want. But I think to my understanding, you do need to have 2 AP classes a week. Is that correct, Mr. Alvin? You know,
Oh.
you registered in 2 AP classes, right? But whether it's like digital or 2D or
Right, you need to at least
traditional
come
is fine.
twice a week to
Yeah.
keep your pace.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. All right, we're gonna move to the next one. Can the teachers help on deciding the main idea topic for the AP drawing? So do the teachers get to help like come up with that, or is that solely on the student?
We do help the students come up with ideas. However, the ultimate idea still comes from the students themselves. We can help by giving students like tools and techniques to dive into their subconscious or like their memories to dig up topics or things from their past. But ultimately, we cannot decide that final topic for anyone.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes, because this is like demonstrating the kids like skills. So that's part of the skill is to come up with that. Okay, so another question is, does Monte Vista High School offer AP Arts course, and CalColor help prepare the students can do the AP Arts directly with CalColor? So I don't know if we know if Monte Vista High School offers AP Art, but you can take it with CalColor. So instead of taking it at the Monte Vista, you can take it through CalColor. Correct. But to figure that out, you can just go to your high school's website. Probably they will have all the courses listed. All right. The next question is, we will register AP Art at school. How's the relationship responsibility looks like among the teacher, the school teacher, and the CalColor teacher and the student?
Okay, I would like to answer this one. The student's case study that I presented a little bit earlier is something similar. My student actually did their APR at their high school. So the high school teacher here retains their final decision on whether or what kind of direction that the portfolio should take. So at CalColor, what we offer here is guidance, help students come up with ideas and help them refine their artworks to a professional standard such that it will meet the requirements for the AP Art exam itself. However, like I said, the high school teacher that is their main teacher gets to decide whether this will pass their standards, and that we don't usually directly communicate with the high school itself.
Yeah. That hopefully that answers your question. Okay, so next question we have is, how many hours per week, including class and homework, would this entail? So to my understanding, you need two-hour classes. So it's going to be 2 hours just for each class. So it's 4 hours of class time a week, plus about 2 hours of homework. Is that correct, Mr. Chow, Mr. Joseph, and Tian?
Yeah, pretty much, Christy. So we
Yeah,
asked
so
the
6
students
hours.
to dedicate another like equal time as the time, like class time, to continue working on their pieces for the execution. Since our in-class time is mainly for the teacher to give them feedback, mainly on the ideas or for the brainstorming things or check out their thumbnails, materials, or any experimenting process thing. And for most of the like we call it like a labor thing or the mechanical like a rendering stuff, we prefer to have to have them to leave to work at home. Yeah.
I think we have a hand up. Garima, did you have a question for us? No? Okay. It looks like there's a hand up, but if you're not ready to ask her anything, I can just move on to the next one. All right, so the next question is, how do you register or join the AP Art course?
Oh, so after this webinar, and we're going to send a Google form so to all the audience today. And if you are interested, and you can just fill the form, and in that form we'll ask a little bit very basic information such your grade, and also we'll ask you to submit a portfolio, couple pictures you done in different medium to help us get understanding about your art background. Yeah, and once we collect all the the application, and we will see how many students we're going to take for the next school year, and we'll reply you maybe within 1.5 weeks.
All right, so next question is the AP art for 9th graders and up only? What if my daughter is 8th grade in this fall? So to my understanding, 8th graders cannot take an AP course. Is that correct?
So in that situation, we do have some students super talented, and they even start to prepare maybe at the 7th grade, but they can't submit. So the AP class is only for high schooler. So then those students, we will recommend them to take our portfolio class instead. So not the AP class. The portfolio class will also help them to work on the AP, but it doesn't have to be finished within a year. So they can slowly to build their portfolio, yeah, and till like a 9th grade or yeah. Oh, and one more thing is parents asking if any parents have a question regarding your high school offer AP or not, you can actually go to AP website. There's a link. You put a zip code there, and they will their class, and they will list all the high school they provide provided those class. Yeah.
That's a really good way to actually check. Thank you, Mr. Alvin. Okay, so we have another question asking, do the drawings that you make at home count as part of your portfolio for the AP art?
Yeah, actually, you don't have to produce everything in school or in class. Ultimately, you can technically even have artworks that were not even produced in the same year, as long as it has not been submitted for an AP art portfolio before. It should be eligible for an art portfolio. And then ultimately, you have to consider if that artwork matches your theme, matches your sustained investigation. That way, you can maximize your chances.
All right, we got a couple more we can answer. So does AP art give you an advantage or help you stand out even if you're pursuing science majors? So I think some people want to know, why should I do AP art if I'm not pursuing art? Mr. Joseph, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, sure. Sure, I have that same situation. So
Yeah.
actually, yeah, you actually do gain a lot of advantage. We also mentioned a little bit earlier that when you take AP art, it also helps give you an edge for pursuing scholarships. On top of that, if let's say for example, you and another student are exactly similar in terms of GPA, your SAT, AP, ACT scores are exactly the same. The only difference here is that you have AP art. It'll definitely give you an edge over those people because it shows that you're multi-talented. You're able to take on and think from different angles and perspectives as well, right? So there's definitely a benefit for you to have an AP art course. Additionally, like even if you're doing science, there are some kind of majors that actually also help or utilize art. For example, if you're going to medical science, right, it actually has a big focus on being able to visualize different parts of the body as well. And I know some schools that do medical science also accept an art portfolio when you're applying towards them too.
Yeah, this is actually really true. Something that I tell parents all the time is that getting into college is so it's so saturated, it's so competitive. It's not enough to just have extracurriculars anymore. You can't just have a ton of extra. They need to know with proof that you don't just have it, but you're good at it. So that's something that you have to also think about, what else can you do to give your kid that edge? All right, the second part to this question is who will be grading AP Art? So who are we submitting to? Is it the College
It's
Board?
going to be College Board AP
Yeah,
Reader.
it's the College Board, yeah. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, and what classes at CalColor do you need to take to later go to AP Art? So it's like it starts at PDP, right? And then it goes to PD, and then it goes to AP.
Yeah,
Right.
PDP
So
stand
if
for
you're in the ninth
Can you
grade,
go to the
we kind of
pathway
recommend you
slide,
to.
Alvin? Oh, you were already on this slideshow. The slideshow that Tian it was like, yeah, this one. Yeah, so how can you get to AP Art, right? So if you're in ninth grade, you guys can plan A would be, if you're ninth grade, you just build a stronger skill set, right? And you can do that in PDP or PD. Then 10th grade, you can go straight into to support your college applications. You can go straight into AP from 10th grade or 11th grade or 12th grade. All right. So is it possible to spread out the AP drawing over a couple of years to make the loaded balanced? Could we prepare it for previous year and then take the AP drawing the following year? Yeah, I think you can just take PD, right? And then just build a ton of cool artworks and then get into AP the next year. Is that correct? All right, teachers are nodding their head.
Yes,
If you
that's
want to
true.
kind of split it out a little bit or average out your time, it'd be better to start from the PD class to really polish your skills for start to do some brainstorming and start to develop any potential topic or subject matter you will be interested. And then once you start getting into the AP program, it's kind of your everything is going to be on track, and we are aiming to finish like one piece in every 2 weeks and
Yeah.
complete your portfolio entire preparation within a year.
We have a hand up. Did you guys have a question?
Yes, yeah, thank you. This has been really useful so far. Thank you. The question I have is, is the registration for the
2025 to 2026 APR open?
is it open? Because we tried on the website, but it says 0 seats available. That's why we are asking.
So we're going to send out an application for, yeah. So since we this year we might have like a 20 spot available. 20 spot available. So yeah, we're gonna review the application form and get back to everyone no later than the 2 weeks, probably like 1 week and a half or something.
So your portfolio has to get reviewed first before you can register into the class, basically. So you have to fill out the application first.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, if you have any question, you can feel free to contact us through our those like a QR code and the email. So we're gonna put an email our email in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So someone's asking if I'm taking art 3 at school next year, can I still do AP art with CalColor? I think the answer is yes.
Yes, actually you can.
Totally. Why not? All righty. Someone says, is UI UX considered an art major or computer science? Will art portfolio be helpful for UI UX college applications? Yeah, it will be helpful. UI UX is like a subsect of like web design. So it's definitely kind of a mix, and some colleges consider it art and some colleges consider it computer science. So it really depends on the program. Each college is different.
Yeah.
But I think most consider it in the realm of design.
Yeah, most school they offer UI UX, and some art like combined with like a computer. The procedure they reviewing application. Most of school they first review your portfolio. If they required a portfolio, they will review a portfolio first. Once you got approved, then they will start to take care of your academic, those score or materials.
Someone's asking if these slides will be available after this webinar, Mr. Alvin. Is that true?
We're going to make a public a version for everyone. If you want it, you just email us to request. And also, we're going to post this recording at our school YouTube channel. So yeah, you can check anytime.
Mm-hmm. What is the email address that they should email for these kind of questions?
We can do Cupertino like a CU at calcolor.com.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat.
Alrighty. What is the cost of this program? Someone's asking. And the cost, I think, is going to depend on the site that you're enrolled in. So it really just depends on if you're at what location. But I can go onto the site and I can add that into the chat for you guys because it's going to differ for each site. All right, someone's asking, will I be able to receive credits with this course for school? Like if I take this course, will it count for art credits at school? I don't think you guys get a GPA. Is that correct? No, we don't give out GPAs. We only give out AP score. So it does not count as a high school credit. No. It is just for AP scoring. Is this program accepted by high schools like Sarah? Okay, so we already answered this, right? It's you guys just have to check in the AP website. We don't know the specific high schools that have the specific AP classes. Is elite program required, and what locations have AP classes? Elite is not required. I know that, but do you know what locations have AP program, Mr. Alvin?
We mainly offer the AP class in the Cupertino right now, but you are not pursued like the 1 year to finish your AP. We do have the portfolio PD class. PD class it's a portfolio development in a lot of locations. For example, Fremont, Mountain View, Cupertino, and I think maybe San Jose as well.
We're really working hard to get it at San Jose next fall.
Yeah, you guys can check our website for the most information.
Yeah, definitely check our website for the most updated information on that. Yeah, calcolor.com. Okay, is it easy for students to choose a theme for their art portfolio?
That is dependent on the students. I have had experiences with some students that they know almost right away what they want to come up with. And then these people generally they have a lot of experience, they're exposed to a lot of things, and they have a lot of strong feelings about their portfolio. So it was a lot easier for some of these students to come up with ideas. For some others, they do have a couple of they run into a little bit of trouble, but it's okay. Like after going through the thought process and like our tools and techniques, they eventually also come up with a very solid portfolio idea as well. So it's not easy for everybody right off the bat, but eventually everyone will catch up to the same pace.
Yeah. Someone is asking, can a student start AP art pieces in the summer? We don't have AP classes in the summer, but what do you guys think? What do the teachers think? Should they start in the summertime? How does that work?
Yeah, for this year, we didn't offer the AP class in the summer. So students can, as I think I mentioned when I shared examples, they can start to doing some like stuff on their notebook and like the Caroline shared, right? Like draft some idea. Yeah, so get it prepared. Yeah.
Buy sketchbook. Maybe that's a good start. Mm-hmm. All right. Is it easy to pick between 2D art and drawing? I think that's up to the student, right? So
Yeah.
what is their strengths? What do you guys think is like what's the main difference between the two? How should they decide?
Yeah, the full score rate and the passing rate you can check like on the AP website. The drawing and the 2D is pretty similar. Yeah, it's not quite different. So yeah, it really depends on your strengths and your interest.
Some of these questions are a little bit they might have joined us a little bit later, so we kind of already answered them, but just as a review, a lot of these questions I'm reading, a lot of parents are asking what their kids should do if their kid is in 8th grade right now and how should they prepare for AP course. So if your kid is in 8th grade, if your child is already enrolled in a PDP class, that would be fine to be in PDP right now for 8th graders. Or they can already join PD depending on if what their current CalColor teacher has recommended for them. And you can like talk about this pathway with your current or specific teacher that you're in. But probably for 8th grade will be PDP or PD. And then in 9th grade, you can go into PD, and then 10th grade, you can start AP. So 8th grade, you have some time. You don't have to, rush into AP just yet. You guys have a little bit of time. Probably just hone in your skills. So yeah, so a lot of people are asking that kind of question. So I just wanted to review that one more time. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reviewing. A lot of these questions are a little repetitive. What is the relationship between college application portfolio and AP art portfolio? So what's the difference between the two portfolios?
So the college portfolio, the main difference is AP is one topic and create 15 to 20 pieces. Yeah, that has to be, the topic will be very related, right? And you need to have very systematic, like the way you created the art. But in college portfolio, they're more looking for diversity. So in a college portfolio, you might included some like a design piece, graphic design, or post design, even like outfit design, and painting, drawing. Yeah, and also some people doing videos, some people doing like a 3D pieces, installation art. Yeah, it's more looking for diversity for most of the school, I would say. So the AP art, some of the AP art, you can, submit to the college, but you can't use all of them. Maybe for our experience is about like two to three pieces, maybe.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have a couple more questions. Which is more important for college application to a non-art major? Is it AP art or portfolio preparation? So which direction should they prioritize? I think they want to know.
I believe that depends on what time you're at. If let's say you're in sophomore year or you're in junior year, I would prioritize doing AP art first. That has a little bit more benefits to you, right? You're able to get that to benefit your GPA, and you're also like a overall standing for scholarships later on. It brings a lot more when you're in sophomore or junior year taking AP art. Once you're in senior year, though, I would probably prioritize more on portfolio building, especially depending on what kind of a college you're going into, because at that point, your benefits for taking AP art becomes a lot less. You won't be able to directly impact your GPA at that point. The only benefit that you get from taking AP art would be to kind of like substitute some college credits. So at that point, I would recommend just focusing on like a college portfolio first, then that will increase your chances of getting into your dream college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another question that's being asked a lot in chat is if you guys are signing up for AP, if you guys have AP art provided by your high school and you guys already know this, what like, do you need to also take it at CalColor? And the answer is you don't need to take both. It would be redundant. We're basically just building a portfolio for your AP scoring, and then your high school would be doing the same thing. So if you'd rather take another AP class because you want to take more AP courses, then you should spend your time doing that, I think. But if you want to take AP art at your high school and at CalColor, you can. CalColor teachers will provide a lot more hands-on experience and feedback for you, probably because we're able to spend a lot more time with you and give you that really personalized feedback. So it really just depends on like what you're looking for. I think the student to teacher ratio is a lot different as well. So in high schools, right, your classes are pretty full, right? You have 25 to 30 kids in a class, whereas at CalColor max is like 10. So it really just depends on like what you're looking for and what you guys decide to do. All right, I think we have like only a couple more questions left. So I'm just gonna do one more question here at the bottom, which is, what was it? How many students are in an AP drawing class? Like what's the max amount, which is, I think, is it 10 or is some classes 15? 10. So yeah, I think I just said that actually. So the ratio is 1 to 10. That's like the teacher to student ratio, which is pretty good. Yeah, but that's all the time we have for today. If you guys have any more questions, please email the email address that I put in chat. You guys can totally ask anything you have. Also, you can just come to class next week and ask your teachers, and they can relay those questions to any of the teen PDP teacher or PD teachers if you guys have any more questions on AP. But thank you guys so much for coming today. We had a wonderful time. Yeah, please give us all your other questions, or if you have any feedback that you want to share with us, you can also email cu@calcolor.com. Yeah, if any of the teachers have anything else they'd like to add before we end today's seminar. Awesome. Thank you guys. Happy Mother's Day and have a great night. We'll see you all in classes next week. Bye, guys.